The experiment that shocked the world, the Tuskegee study, when medicine chose silence over humanity. There are moments in history when science saves lives, when medicine pushes humanity forward. But there are also moments when science fails, not because of ignorance, but because of choice. This is the story of an experiment that lasted 40 years, an experiment that involved hundreds of men, an experiment that continued even after a cure already existed. And when the truth finally came out, the world was horrified. This was the Tuskegee syphilis study, America in the 1930s. To understand how this happened, we must go back to the early 20th century. The United States was still deeply divided by race. Segregation shaped daily life. Healthcare access was unequal. Education was unequal. Opportunity was unequal. In rural Alabama, poverty was widespread, especially among Black communities. Medical care was scarce. Trust in institutions was fragile, and survival often came before everything else. It was in this environment that a group of government researchers launched a study that would become one of the most controversial medical experiments in history. From the beginning, this was not a treatment program, it was an observation. Researchers wanted to watch what happened when syphilis went untreated, how it spread, how it damaged the body, how it led to death. The men were monitored for years, tested, examined, studied, but not cured. Even when symptoms worsened, treatment was withheld. In the 1940s, everything changed. Penicillin was discovered to be a highly effective treatment for syphilis. It quickly became the standard cure. Hospitals used it, doctors prescribed it. It saved lives. But in Tuskegee, nothing changed. The study continued. The participants were not given penicillin. They were not told it existed. They were not allowed access to it. Researchers wanted to continue observing the disease. The study lasted decades. Participants grew older. Some became blind. Some developed severe neurological damage. Some died. Wives were infected. Children were born with congenital syphilis. All while researchers documented the progression. This was no longer science seeking knowledge. This had become something else. By the 1960s, some medical professionals began to question the study. Was it ethical? Was it justified? Was it humane? But many voices were ignored. The study had become institutionalized. It was funded, approved, maintained, and most of the public knew nothing about it. The whistleblower. In 1972, a public health worker named Peter Buxton exposed the truth. He had learned about the study and was deeply disturbed. He tried to stop it internally. He raised concerns, but when nothing happened, he went to the press. The story broke nationwide, and suddenly, the world saw what had been hidden for 40 years. The reaction was immediate. Anger, shock, disbelief. People could not understand how this had happened. Without consent, without treatment, without transparency. The question echoed across the country. How could doctors allow this? How could an institution meant to protect health allow people to suffer on purpose? Under massive public pressure, the Tuskegee study was finally shut down in 1972. An investigation followed. The truth became clear. Participants were misled. Treatment was deliberately withheld. Consent was never fully informed. This was not just a scientific failure, it was a moral one. Behind the statistics were real lives. Fathers, husbands, neighbors, friends, men who trusted the system, men who believed they were being helped. Many never knew the truth. Many died believing they were part of medical care, not an experiment. The consequences of Tuskegee extended far beyond Alabama. It created deep distrust in the medical system, especially within Black communities. Even decades later, some avoided hospitals, some questioned vaccines, some feared research programs. Because once trust is broken, it takes generations to rebuild. Legal and ethical reform. The scandal forced change. New laws were created to protect human subjects in research. Key principles were established. Informed consent, transparency, oversight by ethics committees, institutional review boards, IRBs, became standard. Medical research could no longer proceed without safeguards. Tuskegee reshaped the rules of science. In 1997, the U.S. government officially acknowledged the wrongdoing. President Bill Clinton issued a formal apology to survivors and their families. He stated, "What was done cannot be undone, but we can end the silence." It was a moment of recognition but not closure, because the damage had already been done. The Tuskegee study raises a difficult question. When does science cross the line? When does research become exploitation? When does observation become cruelty? Because knowledge gained at the cost of human dignity is a price history struggles to justify. This story is not simply about evil doctors, it is about systemic racism, institutional failure, power imbalance, and the absence of accountability. Many believe they were contributing to science. Some convinced themselves it was necessary. But necessary for whom? Because this happened in the modern era, not centuries ago, not in secrecy during ancient times. This happened in the 20th century, within a government program, within a medical system, within a society that believed it was advancing, and that made it more terrifying. Lessons that still matter today. Tuskegee changed how research is conducted. Today, patients must give informed consent, risks must be explained, ethics must be reviewed, but the story remains a warning because progress without ethics can become dangerous. Some participants lived long enough to learn the truth. Imagine discovering that you were never treated, you were misled, your suffering was recorded not to help you, but to study you. The emotional impact was immeasurable. Even now, the Tuskegee study is discussed in medical schools, ethics courses, public health programs, not as a triumph of science, but as a reminder of its responsibility. The controversy was not just the study itself, it was the silence. The years it continued, the voices ignored, the warnings dismissed, and the realization that institutions meant to protect people can fail them. The Tuskegee study was not just a scientific experiment, it was a human tragedy. A moment when knowledge was prioritized over compassion, when observation replaced care, when trust was broken, and it forced the world to ask, what is the true purpose of science? Is it discovery at any cost, or protection of human life above all else? Because the legacy of Tuskegee reminds us, science has power, but without ethics, that power can wound as deeply as it heals, and the world will never forget the experiment that shocked it into confronting its own conscience. Hit that like, share button, and subscribe for more videos like this. Now you know.